full year, and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green lookum.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for tuning in, being a part of our True Form Life community, whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. Thank you again for sharing your time today with us. Today I've got Cheyne Inman, and he has got a fantastic story to share with you. I want you to take a walk with me here. I want you to visualize and share this moment with you because it's going to lead up to this incredible interview. Take a minute to picture struggling to reach your goal. Each and every moment you've dedicated your life to reaching one moment, one goal, one mission. Day after day, week after week, you're on a constant grind. You put your body through incredible pain and soreness and pressure. It's emotionally taxing. It's physically taxing. And when you feel like you're at your peak, you feel like you're at your best, time and again, over a 10-year period, you fail. You don't reach your goal. You don't get to where you set your mind to, where you've trained for year after year. And then all of a sudden, a time comes where you're ready. You're not sure if it's going to happen, but you turn the corner. You're 200 meters from the end of the finish line, and you realize this could be it. All you have to do is finish the race. Stay tuned on this edition of Exploring Mind and Body as Cheyne walks you through exactly what it took to reach his goal and cross that finish line. Sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. We have Cheyne with us online. You heard all about him in the introduction. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Cheyne.
Thanks so much. I'm really glad that you invited me out on it.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. I'm excited. We got a chance to sit down and have a tea. It's always interesting for me to be able to sit across from someone. I'm so grateful for the show and the connections we've been able to make and the relationships over the years. And it's no different here. I've recently found you on social media, and here we are with an interview, and you have some exciting news. I'm so excited to share this topic with our audience and let them know what it's like, because as we talked about, it's not always all that glamorous, all the ins and outs that it takes to make it happen. So tell me, let's take a step back. Tell us who you are and what you're doing, and then I'll get into my questions.
So I am doing quite a bit of different things. I'm a realtor for REMAX Estate Properties, and then I coach high school cross country and track, and as well I coach a few adult athletes for their own race goals, and then I have my own training and racing that I'm focused on that takes up time as well.
So your exciting news, you recently qualified for the Olympic trials, is that correct?
Yeah. No, I've been working at trying to qualify since 2008, and I've had many unsuccessful attempts and, races that went wrong, or injuries in a buildup, or, things just didn't go right with weather, or for whatever reason didn't get it. And then at CIM last December, I was able to hit the qualifying standards. So it was kind of a bucket list dream that I'd been working at for a very long time, and kind of had gotten to a point where I wasn't sure if it was ever going to happen. And
then, so what did that feel like? Take us through it. Is there a moment where you're like in celebration, where you got that time, or are you sitting and waiting to see other people's times?
If you run under 219, that's the qualifying standard for the men's. And at CIM, like I said, I'd been working at it for so long that it kind of built up in my mind as something that almost seemed unattainable. when I first started trying to get it, like I had friends that had qualified, and I'd had races that seemed like they had, the chance to do it, and I was confident that I could do it. But then after you fail at it so many times, you start to kind of lose confidence in it. And so at CIM, I mean, that was my big goal in my build up for it. All my workouts were done at that pace to try to achieve that time standard. And then on the day of, everything went well and I felt strong and I was hitting pace. And at mile 20, I actually kind of started like hyperventilating a little bit, because I was like, I'd never gotten to mile 20 feeling that good and feeling like I was going to qualify. And so I almost basically sabotaged myself. Like at that point, I kind of freaked out and my heart rate spiked and like everything just kind of like tensed up, because I got so worried that I was going to hit that, which sounds kind of strange to say. But after that, I kind of backed off on the pace a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm not going to qualify now. And I just kind of gave up. And so in my mind, the last 10K, I didn't think I was going to qualify, but then I just kept telling myself, well, this is still going to be a big PR. I got to keep pushing it, because this is going to be an accomplishment. And even if it's not what I wanted, I got to try to get, my best performance out of it. And so I was just pushing at that point. And I think it almost helped me out, because I stopped stressing about hitting the time standard and just said, okay, I'm going to do the best I can do right now. And then with a mile to go, I saw on the clock and it said 2:11 something. And I was like, why would they have a random clock out here just at the mile marker to go? And then I was like, oh, wait, it's not a mile to go. It's, 1.2 miles to go. And I was like, if you add, that extra 400 meters, that actually would make me right around 2:18 something. I was like, wow, I still have a chance to qualify. And so at that point, I just was like, okay, I got to go. And so I really started pushing. And then the way the course is set up, you finish along this, you run down this long street for a long time, and then you finish at the Capitol building in Sacramento, and you make this turn to go towards the Capitol building. And right when you make that turn, you've got maybe 200 meters or less, and you can see the clock, and I could see it was like 2:17 something. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make it. And it was that moment that I realized that it was like, I'm going to qualify for the trials. And it was like something that I had, dreamed about and worked for so long, that it was just like a shock. Like I couldn't believe that it happened.
Oh my gosh, you got me a little emotional here. So you hit that turn and you're like, oh my gosh, did it still take some time to like hold yourself together? You're like, don't celebrate or don't panic. You still have 200 meters to go, or did you know you're like?
No. Honestly, the thing I was most worried about was like that my hamstrings were going to pull up on me, or something that I was going to, something was going to tie up and I was going to have to just come to a stop. But I mean, in that last little stretch where I could see the clock, like it was just all emotion. Like I was like in shock that I was going to do it, because that was a 7-minute PR for me. So not only was it, something I'd been working at for a long time, it was a huge PR to where I almost couldn't believe that it happened.
So when you cross the finish line, is it like, what kind of emotions are you going through?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I grew up about maybe 40 minutes from there, so I had a lot of friends and family there. My fiancé was at the finish line, and just a lot of people around that I knew. So it was one of those things where it happened at a good place too, where there was so much support there that everybody was excited as I was.
True Form Life.
I couldn't be more excited to share with you our brand new magnesium supplement called TriMag. Now we've put together 3 different forms of magnesium. We also have potassium in there as well. This is a top quality magnesium supplement in liquid form. It's 95% absorbable, which is much different than 5% coming from a powder or pill. So look for a magnesium supplement with clean ingredients like a TriMag. If you want more details, head over to trueformlife.com/TriMag magnesium supplement. This will help you improve your sleep. It helps muscle recovery and soreness. It helps mood, digestion, and it will give you a natural boost of energy as well without the crash. So check out more details at trueformlife.com/TriMag Magnesium Supplement.
Trueform Life.
It seems like such a big risk. Like, you're putting yourself out there, and I love this story. I love this interview already. We don't see that side of it. Like, you put yourself out there in such a big way to achieve this giant goal, but there's so much opportunity for failure.
Oh, definitely. You're definitely putting all your eggs in one basket with the marathon. I mean, I had so many buildups where I was like, this is going to be my race. I feel so good. I'm so fit. And then I have like a really great workout. And then the next morning, wake up and my ankle's bothering me, my IT band's bothering me, something. And all of a sudden I got to take a couple of weeks off and now I got to drop out from the race because it's not going to work out. Or like the same race, CIM, in 2012, the year after I dropped out, I came back and I was fit, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is my chance for redemption. Like, I dropped out last year. I'm going to run a big PR today, and really I'm fit and ready to go. And it ended up being a year where there was like huge headwinds and pouring rain the entire year, or the entire race, and there was just like, probably 6 inches of sitting water on the course. I ran in a trash bag for the first half of the race. And then I took the trash bag off because I was like, this is so frustrating. Like, I didn't come here to go and jog in the rain and storm and everything. And so I took off the trash bag and threw it, and then immediately regretted that because I was freezing the second half of the race. So I ended up having kind of a, I was happy with my effort that day, but my time wasn't great because of the weather and the headwinds and everything. But it was just one of those things where it's like, I put everything into this race, and then the weather doesn't come my way on race day. So you never know, like, you put all this time and effort in, and it doesn't, always align with a good performance.
Oh man, how frustrating. All right, let's take a step back here for a moment and tell us what a training schedule, like, is it a grueling training schedule? I think when you mentioned when we talked, you were running twice a day. Give our audience a chance to learn what it's like to actually train and lead up to something like this.
Yeah, so for this race, I kind of took a step back on intensity because I wanted to stay healthy and make sure that I made it to the line and was able to race. But at the same time, my goal was to qualify. So I upped my volume quite a bit. I would say the 8 weeks leading up to it, I was every week over 100 miles a week. And then my highest week was 150-mile week. And so I don't know what would that be in kilometers?
Yeah, I don't know. I need a kilometer calculator.
Right. So that's, 150 miles is a lot. But most days I was doubling, and then the weekends I'd do my long run. And the one thing I really tried to focus on in the training cycle, aside from getting the big miles in, was making my workouts or my long runs into a workout. So for instance, I might do a 10-mile warm up and then a 10-mile run at marathon pace, or I might do like one of my big workouts was a 3-mile warm up in the morning, then 8 miles at 5:30 per mile pace, and then a 2-mile cool down, and then come back later that night and do the workout again. So that was like, what is that, 5, 6, that's like 24 miles for the day total, with 16 of it at a little slower than goal marathon pace. But it's a lot of volume and a lot of volume at pace. And so a lot of my workouts were kind of tire the legs out and then try to run marathon pace after that. So they would be like long warm up and then working on race pace. So nothing super, super fast, but just kind of cumulative fatigue and trying to run fast on fatigued legs.
Okay, and does nutrition play a role with your lifestyle or with runners in general? I'm always interested to know, because of that grueling schedule, twice a day runs. Do you try to do your best to stay on track with nutrition as well?
I would say yes and no, because I love every kind of junk food there is. My diet is terrible, and so if I have an injury or if I'm taking time off from running for a little bit, my weight definitely goes up quite a bit because I still eat like I'm running 100 miles a week. But the other side of it is, if you are running 100 miles a week, you can pretty much eat anything and it burns it off real quickly. So I try to eat a little bit cleaner as I get closer to a race. So I don't say like, oh, I've got to only eat, fruits and vegetables, or I've got to only eat this type of food. I just say, okay, I need to try to get in more fruits and vegetables. I need to not eat any junk food, and I need to just try to, eat clean and not go to eat fast food or eat out at restaurants or anything as much. But yeah, most of the time I'm guilty of just eating whatever's in front of me.
Well, the handful of runners that I know kind of seems like the same deal, but that always interests me. I want to ask you about the excitement leading up now to the Olympic trials. So, I mean, the pressure put on you by others. I mean, I've played elite sports myself, and I feel like many times it's kind of like other people surround you, put more pressure on you than you do yourself. Is that how you feel? Or maybe you could walk us through what you're going to be going through this next bit until you go to Atlanta.
Yeah, so the race is in February. It's actually on February 29th of 2020. And so, I feel like I've still got quite a bit of time till then. And so I think because of that, I don't feel as much pressure. I'm just trying to kind of just enjoy running a little bit. Like, I put so much pressure on myself to try to qualify for the trials that I was going crazy. I remember the night before the race, I was just so nervous. And so in part of that is I accomplished that goal that I'd been trying for so long. I don't expect to go and run another huge PR and make the Olympic team. I just want to show up and be out there competitive and have a good day and see where I fit into the mix. If I can, have a good competition and be in the mix, I'll be happy. And if I can perform, to my best, that's good. But yeah, definitely people the day of and the day after I qualified, people were coming up to me and saying, you made the Olympic trials. Like, what's next? Or how are you gonna make the Olympic team now? I'm like, that's a huge step. I just PR'd by 7 minutes. I'm gonna have to PR by another 7 minutes to make the Olympic team. So I'm realistic that, I think that the Olympic trials qualifying in itself was a huge accomplishment for me, and anything I can do at the trials is just, icing on the cake.
And you were saying that there's over 200 other athletes that are going to be running the same trial?
Yeah, usually it ends up being around 200 guys that hit the qualifying standard. It's literally whoever makes the standard so it's under 2:19 for the marathon. And so that's 5:18 per mile. So anyone that runs that time gets to qualify to run on that day for the Olympic trials. And so that could be, I think so far at least 150 guys have qualified, but that could be 400 on race day. It's just it's depending on where the competition level's at that point. I usually, though, I would say it ends up being around 200 guys that end up qualifying for the trials.
Do you know what that looks like? Like when you arrive, can you take us through that? Or maybe we'll have to do an interview when it's over with. Do you know what it's like when you arrive? You stay in a hotel, you run the next day, or any details like that?
Yeah, so actually, I just got an email yesterday from the Atlanta Track Club. They're the ones putting on the race, and I'm actually really lucky that I qualified this year and not in 2016, because the Atlanta Track Club is hosting the trials this year, and they're doing a great job with supporting the athletes as far as like they're paying for the travel and they're reaching out and setting up when you need to be here or be there and what the schedule's like. They're going to roll it out kind of week by week, they said. They just sent me the course map, which it looks pretty challenging. It's got a lot of elevation. So it'll be a really tough course, which I think is good because, any kind of championship race, you add other elements and it just makes it a more competitive race rather than just a time trial.
And what does it look like? Is it too far? I mean, you're here in LA. Is it too far for family and friends? Will a few people be joining you? Can you actually watch this? Or does people just kind of hang around the finish line possibly?
That's a good question. Like I said, Atlanta Track Club is doing a really good job putting it on. So I would think there'll be some good coverage of it, at very least online. I think I'll have some family and friends who will go. I would guess my parents and my fiancé will probably be there. But yeah, I mean, it is Atlanta. It's kind of far, so I don't expect a lot of people to head out there. I'm gonna do everything I can to be in the best shape I can be at on that day. But you can't control how things end up.
True Form Life.
I just want to mention Complete Truth Protein here once again before I let you go. This is a protein supplement we designed ourselves, made with quinoa and hemp seeds, also maca and stevia. We have 2 different types of products. They both have tons of health benefits. You can bake the original bag, you can bake with. It's perfect for gluten-free flour. If you're celiac or gluten intolerant, we have tons of recipes on trueformlife.com, which include raw protein balls. People absolutely love these ones. We have pancakes, cookies, muffins, all healthy, all clean ingredients. Dorothy puts these together for us on a weekly basis. So if you head over to trueformlife.com, head over to the recipe section. We have all kinds of recipes on how you can use Complete Truth Protein. It's also a vegan and raw product. So if you have any intolerances or if you have any issues with digestion, this will definitely help you out. Once again, that's trueformlife.com/Complete Truth Protein.
True Form Life.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you get that opportunity. For me, when I played, I wanted to compete against the best. And that was, for me, like, I always wanted to, I played baseball for years, and I wanted to compete against the best pitcher. Like, I was never scared. I didn't want to, like, shy away like some guys. They just didn't, like, oh, I hope so-and-so is not pitching today. But, like, I feel like I worked incredibly hard. And then I wanted to know, like, I wanted to see, like, it's against you and me today, and we're going to see who's better. Like, that always excited me. But I think it's cool for you you get a chance to run, and you get a chance to compete, and you get a chance to hang out and talk to some of these people that have been competing or running at elite levels for years.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited to toe the line. I definitely kind of go both ways with the competitive side. Like, if there's a small local race and it's got, $500 prize money for first place, I'm like, I hope nobody fast shows up. but if it's a race where I'm as fit as I can be and I want to have my best performance, then I'm like, I want the best people there, because that's going to pull me along to do better. Like at CIM, I think I took maybe 47th place or so, because it was the US championships. And so I started the race, I think I was ranked 300 and something off of my marathon PR. And so the first half of the race, I don't think I was even in the top 100 of the field. But that really helped, because I was able to just kind of turn my brain off and sit in the pack and run nice and controlled and not worry about pacing, because there was just so many other guys around that I could just latch on to and run with. So I think having other people just makes you, or just elevates you to a whole nother level,
So do you ever go and do a fun run? Like, you're just going to go, they have color runs or obstacle course runs, or if you do those, do you have to, are you trying to beat everyone? Or can you relax and have fun?
I'm always competitive. I've been trying to enjoy running more by doing trail races and stuff. I just did the Kodiak 100 miler, and for me that was just a bucket list. I was I'm not really sure how my body is going to react after 100 miles. I may never be able to run again. So I was I've already hit my goal PR. for the marathon. So, I might as well give it a shot and see what I can do. And it actually ended up being a horrible experience where I was like puking for the entire day. Every time I'd try to eat something, my body would reject it and I would puke it back up. From like mile 57 to the end, I was just puking nonstop. And then after the race, so it's been 3 weeks since the race, and my feet have been like pins and needles, like numb. Like if your feet fall asleep, that's how they've felt nonstop since the race.
Oh my gosh.
It's a kind of a weird sensation, but I've talked to a few different people who have done 100-milers, and they've said that that's not that uncommon, and it'll go away after like a couple months or so. But it's just kind of a strange sensation to have every single day. And so I've been getting back going with my training, but at first I was kind of afraid to run because I didn't want to like do nerve damage or something. So hearing that other people have had that same issue and have just ran through it, I was like, okay, I can start back to training. But I've been kind of trying to do like different things like trail races and, just running groups and having fun and enjoying running a little bit more. Because for a long time, I thought that like running had to be like hard all the time. Like if I want to reach my goals, I have to be very regimented. I have to really put everything I have into every single workout and every single run. And I think you can get a little too stressed out about that and kind of worry yourself into not reaching your performance. Kind of like what I was saying during the race at mile 20, I just kind of started hyperventilating because I'd put so much pressure on myself about hitting this time for so many years. And now I was going to hit it, and I was afraid that I was going to screw it up somehow. So I think running should be a little bit more fun, and I've just been trying to do different things, different races, and go to run clubs and enjoy it a lot more lately.
Awesome, Cheyne. That was a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything, I know you do some coaching, is there anything that you want to mention? Sometimes we give my guests a chance to talk about their website or products at the end of the show. Is there anything that you want to share with us, or maybe a message, anything at all?
No, I mean, just, I think anyone can reach any goal they have. That's the thing about running is like, it's not where, like other sports with talent makes such a huge effect on it. Anyone can reach their goals if they put their time and effort into it and work harder than anybody else around them. So yeah. And then, you can follow me on social media, Cheyne Inman, Inman. So Cheyne Inman, on Instagram or Facebook or anything if you want to connect.
Awesome, Cheyne. Thank you so much. We will look forward to hearing how it goes.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
True Life.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and sticking around till the end. I love that interview. It was so emotionally visualizing. Is that even a thing? It is now. I got goosebumps when Cheyne was telling his story, and maybe you did too. There's so many reasons for us to keep pushing forward, keep putting one foot after the other, time and time again, because we never know when we're going to reach our goal. If we give up, if we quit, if we accept that failure in our lives, we'll never succeed. Which is why I love to share these stories. I love to do these interviews and give someone like Cheyne a voice and share with our audience, with you guys right here, to let you know that you can achieve. All you have to do is get back up, dust yourself off, and get back in the game. More details are at trueformlife.com. This is where we do meal planning, recipes, grocery shopping lists, at-home workouts. We are dedicated to naturally increasing your energy and improving your digestion. All past shows are going up on exploringmindandbody.com. If you ever miss a show, you can always go back and check out past shows there. Visit trueformlife.com/complete truth protein for more details of our protein supplement we designed ourselves. It's a plant-based protein supplement. You can throw in smoothies, you can bake with it, give you a natural boost of energy and energize your day without question. We also have TriMag. This is our newer magnesium liquid form supplement. We've got 3 different forms of magnesium involved here, along with potassium. It is great to help your muscles recover. It's going to make you feel better, give you a natural boost of energy during the day, and it's also going to help you sleep better in the evening. It's fantastic for muscle recovery. as I previously said. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.